Well, Wisconsin is the focus of the nation as results of tomorrow's primary could solidify the status of some frontrunners or continue momentum swing for two other candidates. Joining us live in studio, Congressman Sean Duffy. Congressman,
how's it going?
It's going very well. Thanks for joining us. And you appeared on ABC Network yesterday, and one of the big topics of conversation was the differences in regions of Wisconsin, right, and the difference in mindset between maybe southeastern Wisconsin and your district, our district here. What is causing those differences?
So I would argue that down in southeast Wisconsin, you have very aggressive and prevalent talk radio. And listen, they're conservatives, and they feel that Donald Trump is not a true conservative. Okay. Ted Cruz is actually the conservative. So they've done, for months, a lot of hitting on Donald Trump. Now, we do have conservative talk radio up here, and they're great, but it has less of an impact as in southeast Wisconsin. And I think the economics are different up north. We're, I think, a little more open to a populist message, which Donald Trump throws out there. So you've seen in this part of the state, the central, northern, western part, we have a lot of folks who are split. You have half that are Donald Trump, half that are Ted Cruz, and I can tell you, I don't know who's going to win the primary tomorrow.
Well, speaking of Ted Cruz, you haven't publicly endorsed anyone, but you did make an appearance. We talked about it at Cruz's event last night at 2510. How do you balance, as a representative of the state, making appearances like that while not having endorsed anyone?
Well, first, I think it's important when these candidates come to our community. As a Republican, I'm going to go out and welcome them to our town. I wasn't here when Donald Trump was in town. I was with my kids, so I wasn't able to make that one. But I think, listen, I endorsed Scott Walker and then Marco Rubio. I'm kind of the kiss of death, so I'm not going to endorse anybody else. And listen, frankly, the people on both sides, they're passionate about their candidate. They don't want to hear, from me who I'm going to vote for. All I will say is, whoever wins our primary, I'm going to work for and support, and because I think another 8 years of this kind of socialism, liberalism, big government policies that come from the White House, I think are going to destroy the country. So
you mentioned the passion about the voting for candidates, and it seems like with Donald Trump, the American people are incredibly passionate about him, but there is some party leaders that are passionate against him. What is causing a disconnect between the minds of some voters and the minds of some party leaders?
Well, I think party leaders are concerned that Donald isn't developing policies as well. I mean, he'll say some comments that are at 30,000 feet, but when you drill down, he doesn't have a lot of depth on the policy. Okay. He needs to be a little bit of an apprentice on the policy. I'm sorry for that.
You've been saving that one, I'm
yes,
sure.
I have. That was first for you. But he does. You got to learn this stuff. And so people who give their lives to the conservative movement, a form of limited government that are going to help lift people up, offer more opportunity, more jobs, better wages, a stronger America, they look at Donald and they don't see that he embraces those ideas, and that's why they've worked so hard against him. But then you have another group that say, listen, we've tried John McCain, we've tried others. They haven't worked for us. We're concerned about trade deals that hurt our economy, that hurt our wages, that hurt our jobs. We're concerned about our southern border where people are coming across and we can't even secure it and defend it. They're concerned about the Middle East and a rising threat of terrorism and an unwillingness of leaders in Washington to address that. Not me, but others, to be clear. And so that's where you kind of get this divide in the Republican Party. And I will say that Donald Trump has done a remarkable job of bringing in new people, new voters, people who aren't traditional Republican voters or won't go to a traditional Republican event. They're coming out for his events. But you see a lot of passion on both sides. It's going to be fun.
Quickly before we leave, do you expect higher turnout because of maybe new voters, new passion?
Well, on the Republican side, absolutely. But listen, on the Democrat side with Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, there's passion over there as well. So I think you're going to see a historic primary turnout in Wisconsin, and it has a huge impact on what's going to happen nationally. On the Republican side, this if Ted Cruz doesn't do well, he's done. Yeah. If he does do well and wins, he has momentum moving forward and potentially can challenge Donald Trump for the nomination with that 1237 number. And this is one of the last stops for Bernie Sanders. He has to do well here if he's going to keep that progressive liberal dream alive.
Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman.
Thank you. Have a good one.
We'll be right back after the break.